Hey, what's going on guys? My name is John Nieves and today we're about ready to give you our full review of the Vivo NEX3. Now, we weren't expecting this good of a flagship from Vivo. We already had a good idea of what our flagship contenders would be this year, but the NEX3 just came out of nowhere. And it's a really great flagship. We definitely recommend you checking it out once Vivo starts selling it in the Philippines. Why should you consider the NEX3? Well, here are a couple of reasons. So one of the first things that you will definitely notice with the NEX3 is the display. That gorgeous 6.89-inch AMOLED Full HD Plus waterfall full view display. That is a lot of words. So basically, all you need to know about the display is that it blends seamlessly into the frame of the phone, angling around 88 degrees to do so. It's one of the first phones to have a waterfall display. The Huawei Mate 30 Pro obviously has that display, but Vivo was first. Because the side of the phone is basically half display and half frame, Vivo used virtual keys on the side instead of physical ones. So you have a raised area on the side that serves as your reference point for the power button, volume up and volume down buttons on the top and bottom of it. For the most part, these buttons work pretty well, but because of how tall the phone is, and it is very tall, sometimes you're going to be hitting the power button and the volume down button when you're trying to turn the display off. Now, we take accidental screenshots all the time trying to turn off the phone. Our gallery is filled with accidental screenshots. It's a little annoying, but after a while, you kind of get used to it. The waterfall display also allows for a couple of cool custom animations when you're listening to music, for example. It also makes the phone easier to grip because the phone is now skinnier than a regular Android phone that has an equivalently sized screen. As for image quality, the display looks amazing. It's very bright. It can go up to 800 nits. Color saturation is great. Black levels are amazing. There's really nothing that you can complain about with this display. It really is one of the best displays we've seen on a flagship, which isn't surprising because Samsung actually applied the display for the NEX3. So another thing that will catch your eye when you're looking at the NEX3 is the glass back. Now, the 5G versions come in very striking colors. Unfortunately, the 4G variant only comes in black, which we have here. But the black coloration has very subtle hues that change depending on how light hits it. It's very elegant, it's very understated, and we really dig that color. Another feature that we really like about the NEX3 is the fact that it has a 3.5mm jack. A lot of phones nowadays don't have a 3.5mm jack. It's being taken out in a lot of flagship phones, and we really like the fact that the NEX3 has that. Now, another great thing about the NEX3 is its cameras. It has 3 cameras on the rear. It has 64 megapixel f1.8 main camera, a 13 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide angle camera, 13 megapixel f2.48 telephoto camera, and a pop-up selfie camera as well that contains a 16 megapixel f2.09, that's a little weird, camera with a selfie fill light on the left side. While the 64 megapixel camera can take images in, well, 64 megapixels, most of the time the photos that you will be producing will be 16 megapixels because of pixel binning. Vivo really touts the HDR capabilities of the NEX3. They say that the NEX3 really performs well even when there's harsh backlight behind you or behind the subject that you're shooting. We found that to be relatively true. Took the NEX3 out for a day in Shanghai Disneyland, and we managed to take very nice, gorgeous shots with the 64 megapixel main camera. The 13 megapixel ultra wide camera also performed really well, though because of the aperture opening, it doesn't really fare well in low light. That goes the same for the 2x optical zoom camera. Speaking of low light, the NEX3 can take low light pictures using AI, where it basically takes a lot of exposures and stitches the image together to produce one bright photo. This AI assisted low light camera mode produces okay photos, but it's not in the same league as photos produced from Huawei's P30 Pro, for example, or the Mate 30 Pro, which is still the gold standard for AI-assisted low-light photography. A flagship wouldn't be a flagship without flagship innards. Now, the NX3 has Qualcomm's Snapdragon 855 Plus octa-core processor. This is the same kind of processor that is found on gaming phones like the RG Phone 2 and the Black Shark 2 Pro. Because our phone was only the 4G variant, we only got 8 gig of RAM and 128 gig of non-expandable storage. We did not have any issues while we were playing games or putting up our game bench results on the screens so you can see how the vivo NEX3 performed while we were gaming. Basically, this phone has gaming phone performance in a really nice looking package. The thing that we really don't like about the NEX3 is the UI, the fun touch UI that tries too hard to be like iOS. For most Android phones, you can access your settings, you can access your notifications simply by swiping down from the top of the phone. In Fun Touch UI, your notifications are accessed by swiping down from the top, and you access the settings from swiping down from the bottom going up. It's annoying. There's really no reason to separate both of these into two different locations. You can just put it in one Vivo. Please, for the love of God, stop doing this. Another thing that we really like about the Vivo NEX3 is the fact that it has a 4500 mAh battery inside of it. That is pretty big, and we're pretty impressed that Vivo managed to stuff that large of a battery inside a phone this size. For some reason, PCMark's battery benchmark always crashed when we use it with the Vivo NEX3, which is a little weird. But with our regular use, the 4500 mAh battery had more than enough juice to power the phone for an entire day with a little bit left over at the tank, around 30% left. Now, if you manage to completely drain the phone, you'll be able to put it back up in no time because the phone has a 44-watt fast charging capability. That is faster than Huawei's 40-watt supercharged capability. So that is pretty much it. We are very impressed with the Vivo NEX3. We really like the phone. It's fast, it's fluid, the display looks incredible, the camera really performs as advertised. The only thing right now that we're wondering is how much it'll be in the Philippines. There is no price yet for this phone. Vivo Philippines have said that they are bringing this over to our country. In China, it is priced at around 37,000 pesos. Obviously, that's just a price estimate. Taxes and importation costs also play a factor in how much this phone will be. But if Vivo can keep it along 37,000, as long as it doesn't go past 40,000 pesos, then Vivo Philippines has a winner in the NEX3. Thank you very much, guys. This has been the disembodied voice of John Nieves. Please like, subscribe, and comment. We really like this NEX3. If you have any other questions, please drop in the comments. We're going to try and answer that for you. Click on that notification bell and subscribe if you haven't yet, please. Thank you very much. Peace out, guys.